ring the bell?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I can't ring the bell. I didn't tighten this up. You don't tighten this beauty. Yeah.
Well,
This
the
is...
other one's tight.
All right, check this out, Scott. This was one of my pickups. See, I should have filmed this one, but where was you at when I was doing the big sale?
At my other
Oh
job.
man, geez, that's what happens. You work too much. So, me and my wife took a ride to do the longest yard sale, which was the 127 yard sale. It runs through several states. We only got to make it through Tennessee, Kentucky, into Ohio this time. So, on the run, I seen the Hispanic guy had this for sale. Now, I've wanted one of these ever since I was, oh man, I don't know. Since I was 12 years old buying lowrider books to see the cool bicycles and the cars in the lowrider magazines. And being a poor kid, my mom couldn't even come close to affording this thing, so I was able to make a purchase. It was one of those things where I was like, I've got to buy this thing. So I don't sell bikes in the shop, but this is one of those things that's not for sale but can be bought. So I'm going to eventually hang it up in here somewhere. I know that's hard to believe, but I'm going to eventually hang this thing up in here somewhere. And this thing has some highly crazy details to this thing. It's a custom-made bike. It was made out of California, and somehow it ended up in Tennessee. But guy had it for sale. His first asking price on this bike was $800, and I was like, you know, $800 is a good deal. This bike is like $2,500, $2,000 range, and $800 was a good deal. But being it's me, you know, I got to try to do better. So I asked the guy, I was like, so what's your best price? So he threw me his best number, and I didn't like that either. So on the way walking out, I was like, look, I'm gonna make you an offer. Don't be mad, but I'm gonna throw you an offer. If you take it, great. If not, understand fully. So I told him, I was like, I'll give you $500 for it. And he was like, oh God. And he's like, oh, no way, no way. I said, you know, I was like, man, what do you want to do? I was like, that's my offer. Don't be mad. Like I said, he's like, so I said, well, you have a good day. Turned and walked around. He's like, I don't know why, but $550 is gonna buy it today. And I was like, I'm not letting this bike sit there for $550. I was like, I've got to buy this bike. So paid the guy. While we were standing there, I couldn't tell you at the people that came by and was taking pictures of this thing and was checking it out. And he was like, man, if I just charged $1 for everybody that took a picture with it today, I wouldn't need to sell the bike in the beginning. I was like, okay, I get that. And it was just crazy, man. I did, you know, I feel like I paid up, but I also know I got a crazy good deal on this bike. Like I said, it's going to be in here in the shop for a while. It's not one of those things that I necessarily want to sell, but it can be bought. So some details to this thing, which is total nuts, is you've got 144 spokes on the wheels. So that is nuts. Plus you got this gold running across the wheels right here. It is red wall tires. Threw the old school cards in there just to make it look cool. Custom pedals, custom twisted metal on the crank. You got curb feelers on this thing. You've got a steering wheel. You have 4 mirrors, custom made mirrors. You've got this crushed velvet seat with twisted metal around the seat. You also have got mud flaps as if you're going to need them, right? And then on the front end, you got a custom tag from where it was in California. It's like, you know, like a player hater right there. You know, you're gonna hate, there it is. So that's pretty cool. You've got horns on this right here, which is pretty sweet. If you want to cruise, you flip down that, do a little cruising. You got both those on each side. You've got steering wheel cover right there. If you take it off, you got more bling to it right there. You also got the big antennas on the back, I'm gonna call it, for whatever reason, I don't know, but they look badass. Just a fire piece, man, just a fire piece. If you turn it around, Listen to that. Boy, you ain't heard that click since you was riding your bicycle. Isn't that? So you flip it around, and you know, if you want to get those haters off, you got the stick for it. You know, try to jack you ride, just pull out your stick, handle some business, and then you put your stick back up and you get ready to cruise around some more. It also came with a spare tire, believe it or not. I just did not put the spare tire on the back of it for this video, but it came with an awesome spare tire. It's crazy, man, and it's just nuts. It's like totally custom. I just couldn't leave it behind. Of course, at this point in the game, you know, I'm too fat to ride this bike, Scott. I know you can't believe that, right?
No, not one bit.
You can't believe it? Turns out it's not weighted for 450. Can't believe it either. So, but I'll never ride it, but it is pretty badass. So, just smoking custom bike, man. Even on the wheels, it's even got like money symbols right here, screwed in there, so for your air. Custom right there. It's just a total custom piece, man. It is fire. Total custom. Just crazy cool piece. Something you don't find every day.
Nope.
And being as I like pop culture stuff and I like toys and it all goes hand in hand, it's just had to be purchased. Had to be. So if anybody's got one, you know, leave in the comments, let us know what they got. You know, share it to our Facebook page, which is Toy Busters. Love to see what you guys come up with creatively. It's pretty awesome. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, guys. This thing is awesome. All right, Scott, you know anything about this right here?
Looks like a vintage Boba Fett.
Well, you're right. It does. I thought you were a Star Wars fan, Scott.
A little bit.
What do you mean, a little bit?
It's more my wife that's
Oh, blame it on the wife, right? Okay, whatever, G.I. Joe guy. Anyway, we got this right here. This is really cool. This is a vintage 12-inch Star Wars Boba Fett version 1, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go in a little deeper about that one. This is a repo box. Okay, so it looks really good because it is really good. The box is repo, so you can actually now go back, and people that can build boxes can definitely go back and build you a box that looks just like back in the day kind of box with all the lettering and all the great stuff. But I think it looks really good displayed in this box. So we kind of left it there. And also when I purchased this, we did get the OG box as well. So, of course it folded back in the day. And if you can look at it, you can see that it's almost the same kind of everything as you see on the repo box. I mean, they did an excellent job trying to recapture everything that you would see. So one good way to tell if you have an OG box is a lot of times you can smell it, believe it or not. So you can tell when you sniff that box on the inside, you get that certain, it's something, you know, you'll know. I mean, you'll know. I mean, you got that old smell. It smells like Granny's house back in the day. Sometimes in the way that the thickness is of the cardboard is going to tell you. That's going to tell you some stuff about it. Also, this box is in really good condition for a vintage box. Your color still looks very good on this one. Looks very nice. So if you are a completist and you want your 12-inch Boba Fett in your OG box, you can have that. Also, you can leave it like that for displays. So we did acquire this on a pickup. Had a customer that has a storage unit and he was downsizing some of his collection. So we were digging through the storage unit and happened to come across this piece here. Initially, he did not want to sell this because it was one of his prized pieces in his collection. So finally we got him talked into letting it go. So we ended up picking this thing up at a smoking good price. We've got it priced at $500 here in the shop, which if you ever tried to buy one of these, in this kind of condition, you're going to pay good money for this thing. Much like any old vintage stuff, if you're trying to complete a Boba Fett, you're going to have to come up with things like the cape, the rocket, the backpack, the gun, the little belt, the hair braid thing that goes down. It's going to be a lot of stuff to complete this figure. And the more you try to buy singly, the more the price is going to add up. So if you try to build it on your own, it's going to cost you. So again, like I told Scott in one of our other videos, I'm the guy that wants it done. So I don't mind paying the little bit more to get something that's already done to save me time and energy and money on hunting down the parts. So this is a super nice piece. It could definitely be a grill piece for somebody's collection. It could be center point piece for their collections. Very popular character from Star Wars. Very desirable figure. It is a very, very nice piece. Again, you do get the retro box as well as the vintage box, and the figure is 100% vintage. So you always want to make sure when you're buying vintage stuff that you're not buying repo parts either. So they do make stuff to where you can go back and buy a repo rocket, a repo backpack, a repo weapon, and things like that. But if you are a die-hard vintage guy, then you're going to want OG from head to toe, like me. So, very cool piece, excellent pickup. This is the kind of fire that we're buying here at Toy Busters. So, just great piece, guys. And if you want to come in and check it out, we're here. If you got something like this that you want to sell to us, make sure to hit us up. If you need information on something and then I can help you, hit us up on our socials, guys. Leave us a comment down there and I'll definitely answer you back. But this thing is fire. Thought you guys would enjoy looking at it. Awesome pickup in a strange, somewhat hard to find place that I never thought I'd find it. Scott, this is something that we got in. I've been really slack lately because I've been telling you that I wanted to do some shopping videos, but you know, your schedule, my schedule don't always work, so I haven't been doing very many of those. But this just came in the shop an hour ago. So being as you're in here, let's see what we got cool in here.
All right, let's see it.
Now, I don't remember too much of this as a kid, but I am a kind of a space guy. I'm going through a space phase right now. I don't know what it is, but I kind of am. And we did get this. Came in the shop earlier today.
Ooh.
How much you know about this, Scott?
I know, I think it's Space 1999, and that's about the extent of it.
You're kind of like me then.
Yeah.
So, but I did happen to look this thing up on eBay before we purchased it and try to see what was actually missing from it or what was here. This one is relatively clean as such to be the year 76, I think, 78, something like that. Stupid clean, in good shape. A lot of these things have glue marks to, you know, where you see that old glue where the seal is.
Yeah.
This one, you can tell a little bit more right here, but a lot of it is not bad condition at all. I know they come with decals, but you can also get replacement decals for these too.
Yeah.
So, which they're making for everything. So this came in the shop. We looked it up on eBay, somewhere around $325, something like that. It does have two, I'm gonna call them drivers. Two of the drivers. This one is really cool. It actually has the helmet and the little piece right there with it, which is super cool. This one does not have the helmet. I was really looking at pieces. You know, a lot of times when you, I don't have to tell you because you're a Joe guy, but when you start going through to find parts and pieces of stuff that you need to complete things, it's almost just as cheap to go back and buy one complete in good condition. But I know guys like you like to hunt. I know you like to find it cheap.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, hey, I'm going to buy this cheap, and then hopefully I'll be digging in a toy show and I'll find this part and this piece. But I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the guy that wants it right now. So, but I did happen to catch some stuff. So like this helmet, for instance, is like $13 on eBay.
Oh.
So if you need the helmet, it's like $13. It does come with the chairs. They're just in there. So I encourage if anybody buys these and they don't think they see their chair, look down in there because they could definitely be down in there. So the chair could be in here. These pieces are really hard to find. They actually sell these kind of separately too. So if you need those replacement parts, that's awesome too. It's really good shape, man. Really good shape. So the value on this, I would say probably somewhere 3 1/4 on this one. We picked it up today for roughly 160.
Oh,
So 160, that was a pretty good pickup.
yeah.
It's not broken here. It's just you got to be very, very careful with this old plastic because that plastic is so brittle
Oh, yeah.
and it will just explode. So patience is a virtue with these things, which I don't always have. So matter of fact, I'm gonna leave that off for a minute. So this is, again, super clean. If you are a guy that collects this sort of stuff, this is definitely an awesome piece to have. Like there's the chair, the other one's up in there, which mounts to right there. It's got this piece. So this one's missing about 2 pieces as such, other than the helmet. So you're looking at $125 for, I think, this little anchor piece that goes with it. And there's another little, I'm gonna call it a shelf, but I know that's not the proper word for it, that goes in here. And you've got a immaculate piece. I mean, as such, for the years and stuff. You could go back, put new decals on this thing, and it would just be a prize and a focal point in your collection.
Oh, yeah.
So, very pleased with this purchase today. Like I said, smoking good pickup for the shop, because this stuff just doesn't walk in for us all the time. It's a real chore to hunt down, especially in good condition. So, really pleased with that.
Very cool.
So, awesome pickup today for that. Scott, what's up, man? We have got some really cool stuff in the shop as of lately. Again, we did the longest yard sale run, which I explained. It runs through several states, called the 127. So after we did that run, we've had a lot of people bring us different stuff in, and I bought some things from people. Some of the stuff actually we acquired from a toy show in Salisbury. It's Salisbury, North Carolina. This past week. Some of the stuff we acquired is in here right now. We picked this guy up, which probably top 5 favorite movies for Steven. The Warriors. Of course, they have to come back home and fight their way to Coney Island. If you've never saw the movie, I encourage you to check it out. This is one of the characters. His name was the Orphans. He was one of the group leaders as far as one of the gangs goes. Super cool figure. Hard to find piece. I mean, he doesn't necessarily fetch a lot of money, but it is a very, very hard piece to come by. It's really cool because he comes with a stand, extra hands, even back before the extra hand things was popular. It comes with this little razor knife here. Pretty cool display little box. Of course, this one's been beat up a little bit. They had several figures in this wave. This is a really cool piece. Also, told you I'm going through a robot phase right now. We picked this robot up, which is a aftermarket robot, reproduction, whatever. Very cool metal robot. Lost in Space robot. We picked these guys up. These are really cool. Picked this Lost in Space piece up. That was pretty awesome. That was a toy show pickup as well. Then we got my wife, as you tell me in your videos, likes Star Wars, but my wife likes ridiculous stuff. So we picked this up. I thought it'd be a good idea if we could feed her out of this, but she strongly declined. I offered to wash it and everything. But this is a really cool piece from Rugrats. You don't find this stuff very much. The merch from this stuff is hard to find. You can run across the figures once in a while, but the merch is hard. So anytime we find any merchandise that goes along with this franchise, 90s stuff right now is fire, because those kids are starting to come up in age and they're wanting to collect the stuff that they had. So this is a really, really cool piece of Tommy and his dog, and very, very cool dog bowl. Awesome. You could probably use it as a little plant stand. Multiple purposes for this thing, but really, really cool piece there. This is something that walked in the shop. Might not walk out, but this is really cool. Of course, it had a piece on it. This is a little radio. Very cool little radio. Voice changing piece. Again, merch is hard to get, guys. We priced this one for $75. Transformer merch. Of course, you can find the Transformers all the time, but finding the merch is next to impossible.
The box looks great for its age.
Box is very good condition. You just don't find this kind of stuff, man. It's a one-off, hard to find piece, which is stuff we're always trying to find. It's just very difficult to find it. And then when you find it, it typically sells really quickly. Some other cool pickups, as you can see, Scott, we've been selling some stuff. So we got some empty shelves. That's what we're always looking to buy. Definitely got some more robotic stuff there for robots and space and all kind of stuff there. These were really cool here as well. Picked these up. Lots of really cool space guns and different stuff there. Like I was playing with this one. When it came in, it was super sticky. I guess it's because of that plastic. Still a very cool piece. You know, I don't think our newer generation knows about this because they weren't, you know, they ain't really got anything space like that. What do you got, Alien now?
At most.
At most. So, that was a cool pickups. These walked into the shop in a large collection. Guy was downsizing, and we got the Danger Girl stuff. Really cool figures. Those are awesome. We also picked up his Family Guy piece, because not only do we do vintage, we do modern, we do everything here, pop culture. Picked up this turtle, which is super rare turtle. This was cool, came in a giant turtle collection. Guy had it since he was a kid, and he was downsizing his stuff. That was an awesome pickup. Hard to find piece, very hard to find. A couple other pickups we did was, we call this our Wall of Doom. So if you ever come in the store and you're wanting to know, what do you got weird? What do you got from this era? What do you got from that? This is the Wall of Doom. And why we call it that is because everything and its brother gets pushed to this wall. So you're gonna find stuff like Black Series, you're gonna find stuff like Toy Biz, you're gonna find Sectars, you're gonna find Alien, you're gonna find Masters of the Universe, Sonic, Marvel Legends, Trolls, Pogs, Vintage G.I. Joe. This is the catch-all wall. This right here holds all of our, where we're gonna put it stuff. So it is very, very cool. This wall over here has significantly grown as far as Star Wars goes. And I'm thinking the reason we're buying a lot of Star Wars right now is the simple fact that nothing's really pushing Star Wars. So if nothing is holding people's interest, then therefore they tend to part with their collections. So there's nothing been great that has came out here lately, even on Disney and whatever, to hold people's attention spans. So people are dumping their collections, so we're buying it like hand over fist. I will say that the Black Series stuff has been moving really quickly. We sold, whatnot, probably, I want to say somewhere around 600 to 1,000 Black Series figures over the past 3 weeks. It's been pretty crazy. So Black Series still doing very well. Some of it's very hard to come by. Some of it's still very, very hard to get. 3 3/4 figures is a hard push right now, which I don't know why, because I personally love the vehicles for them. The vehicles are amazing. I think that's keeping that toy line smooth and running. This right here is, I'm going to call disappointing. So, and the reason I call this disappointing is because everybody and their brother kept this stuff, and they kept it in the packs, hoping to rekindle the fire of the 1977, 78 stuff that came out. This stuff is going to take another 20 years before it has that kind of value, if it ever makes it to that kind of value. So people come into the store and they're like, hey, I got some Star Wars stuff to sell. And unfortunately, we don't offer a lot for it because, again, there's so much of this stuff out there. I mean, it's crazy. So we don't offer a lot for it. Therefore, we don't charge a lot for it either. You know, we don't offer to pay a lot for it. We don't charge a lot for it. So if you're looking for this sort of thing, and they are still collectors with this, you can come in and pick up stuff for $5 a piece and build a collection out of this. So, I mean, there's still some really cool figures here, but again, not very desirable as such right now. Hopefully this will kick back up. This is our other wall of doom. This is our wall of doom for packaged. Unfortunately, we deal with a very small store here, so we have to figure a way to work everything in. So if you ever come in the shop and you want to say what they got packaged, come over here, check this stuff out. It changes like underwear, you know, every day, just about. So always come in and check this wall. It's crazy stuff. I will say that we have picked up some really, really cool pieces here lately for this, like the vintage Dick Tracy stuff. I remember playing with when I was a kid. I totally love it. Awesome toy line. I think there was, like, for instance, these cards are not terrible, but I want to pinpoint that I had these when I was a kid, but the one you never see, Scott.
Yeah, the blank.
The blank. I have saw it one time. One time I saw that figure. It was at a Chicago toy show. It was graded, believe it or not, and the price of that figure was $4,000. So that's the only time I've ever seen it. For the longest time, I never even thought it existed. And until I saw it, I was like, I told my wife, I said, you got to come here. I was like, listen to the experience just to see this, because you'll never see another one. It's so hard to find that figure. That is probably one of the hardest grails to come across. I mean, in my opinion, it's got to be one of the hardest. Just insane piece. This was another cool pickup here. Flash Gordon. Did you ever play with that?
No, I did not.
Flash Gordon had a 3 3/4 inch run for a while. Had one of your friends actually turn me onto this a little bit, Fritz, and he showed me a little bit, and I've sold him a couple pieces. And we picked up that little water pistol there for a pretty good deal. We also priced it at a pretty good deal. This is vintage, nice piece there. Just crazy stuff you're gonna find on this wall, man. You just never know. Vintage ET stuff down on the bottom. So that was actually a flea market purchase. Getting up early in the morning, sometimes pans up. Going to the flea market, searching around, seeing what you can find. I don't know who in the world decided to keep these in the pack for that long, but those are amazing figures. If you like E.T., which was, you know, pop culture classic, everybody knows about E.T. If nothing else, you know to phone home if anything ever happens. So, this was a really cool pickup. This right here is a reproduction Star Trek piece, which is also for the modern style Mego figures that they've made. Very, very nice play set. It's made just like the old set, but with less cost. So if you want a nice box and put one in it for display, this is a very, very nice piece.
A lot less split vinyl too.
Exactly. So finding one in great condition, you know, the older that stuff gets, the more just the weather is going to destroy it. So finding it, you know, if you can't get an original that's mint, you can always go back and find that. That's the good part about the reproduction stuff that's coming out. Now, some diehards are like, oh, I don't like that. Well, if you don't understand, but if you do, that's the ticket. This piece here was a pickup in a turtle collection. Very cool piece here. Again, finding them complete is a chore. This one is missing a couple pieces. However, we do have the guns for it. It is missing a couple die-hard pieces for it. But we did sell, like for instance, we've got this one at $175. It's not complete, but it is in good shape. It's not, a lot of times this color will change. You know, you'll get them with that sun fade or damage. This one is not damaged as far as that goes. It does need to be cleaned up a little bit. Guys that work here don't like to clean. Neither do I, so you get some dust. So I call that farm fresh merch. But we just started selling a reproduction of this that just got released, this year? $60. So So you can tell the difference versus vintage versus this, and I personally think either one of them looks really cool in your collection. So
I want to say that reproduction of the Technodrome was a smaller scale too.
it is a little smaller.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell the difference when you put them both together. I will say that the part I do enjoy about the reproduction stuff is I think they're building it to last. I hate to say that, but because this plastic here is a very brittle feeling plastic. So the newer stuff is, you can tell some of this stuff has more of a flex. The plastic feels more flexible and movable
Yeah.
than some of the, like, okay, so this is modern, okay? So, but the plastic is, you can feel like it's got some movement to it, like it'll take a beating. Like when a kid plays with this, he can drive it through the mud and it'll last a while. If you want to do that with your toys, of course, as collectors, we don't tend to put them through the mud unless you have to. But, some pretty cool turtles we picked up in this collection too. We like to sell stuff at all points. Some people like to sell stuff at, complete. Some people don't even sell it unless it's complete. Here, we sell it whether it's complete or not complete. And the reason is because there's different levels of collectors. Okay, Daddy may come in and want his Ninja Turtle 100% complete so he can put it on a shelf. But he also wants his son to see what he played with too. And for a fraction of the cost, son can now come in and get one that he can beat to death and save Daddy some money and be able to pick up something that's not necessarily complete, but just like Daddy had. So that's another really cool aspect of selling stuff complete versus non-complete. And we're always really reasonable. Like, that's a pretty hard to find a piece there. That's pretty hard. You don't always run across him too easily. That's a very collectible piece there. There's probably several in here that's pretty nice. Pretty hard to get stuff. A lot of times we'll have people that come in and buy our stuff because, like, we will put 1 or 2 weapons with them, and they might just want it for the weapons. So we'll sell it to them just for the weapons. Like, for instance, somebody might need this suitcase, and they typically come with a little pizza that comes in there. So somebody will pay $10 for this and have an extra little turtle and the accessory to complete theirs. So that's always something cool that they come in and pick up. We all collectors, so we want it from the beginning to the end. From low end to high end, from kids playing with stuff to just all the cool stuff that we can possibly get. This piece right here, Scott, I thought would be gone by now. The Galacticus, super cool piece, HasLab. I really thought it would be gone by now, being it's the Fantastic Four movie came out, and he made his first real appearance on the cinema screen. So really thought it would be gone by now, especially at the price we've got this one for, $500. It has been opened, but it has all the tiers. It's been put on somebody's shelf for a short while and put right back in the box. So crazy price on it. I think it's bringing about 6 to 8 on eBay right now plus shipping. So it's just, we definitely are very, very competitive on pricing. Very, very competitive. So horror VHS or horror DVD, excuse me. Just got in a massive collection of those. Always good sellers. We've been picked over some. They were everywhere, so they have been sold and picked over some. But we have picked up some really, really good stuff lately. These are super cool. These are, unfortunately, some of these are very expensive. Cops and Crooks. That's complete. Unfortunately, he's about $100 right now. But they are reissuing this guy. So you'll be able to get it through another company that's making these, re-releasing these. But these are all OG vintage. Some of them have their file cards with them. They actually save the file cards. This guy's pretty hard to collect and keep. Another really hard one with his hats, his nightstick, his guns. Just some of these parts, man, were impossible to keep up with. So, and the really cool part about these, as a kid, don't know if you ever played with them or not, but they had like cap guns. So you could load these with caps and spin them and then go pop, 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 like they're actually firing the weapon. So that was really, really cool too. So awesome, awesome pieces. We have sold, we actually had a huge collection of those come in, and that's what we have left. So that was super, super cool. Awesome stuff has came in the past couple weeks. So we do sell stuff really quickly. So if you're interested in anything, please contact the store, speak to one of the employees, they'll put it back for you. We do ship all over the US each and every week. We get you tracking, we can ship it to you. We can do PayPal invoices. You can pay over the phone when you contact the store. If you see something you like, please inquire. If you have some stuff you'd like to sell or bring in for store credit, we're always interested. Guys, we appreciate it. You guys have a blessed day, and check out other videos. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot for being with us and letting me share our collections with you guys. This is amazing.